So if you're like us and you're wondering what podcast you want to listen to if you have like an hour or two to kill, maybe you're driving, maybe you're doing the dishes, I don't think it'll take an hour to do the dishes, but still it's nice to have something in the background even if it takes you the entire day to listen to it. But if you're like us, you like listening to podcasts, but you just don't maybe know which one you want to choose. So maybe we can help you with determining which one you'd like to listen to with a few options.
Yeah, these are some podcasts that have at least been influential in our biblical intake and just expanding upon things that we want to learn about. So we'll just kind of go through and kind of tell you what we've been listening to.
So some of the podcasts that you may be interested in listening to, just recommendations off of me. Some of these podcasts I haven't listened to every single episode, but I've listened to a few of them, and they, the ones that I did listen to, amazing. But for me, I would start off the recommendation with a podcast called The Naked Bible, and it's hosted by Dr. Michael Heiser. And he talks about a lot of cool biblical concepts, and it's really inspiring listening to him talk. I think he's very well educated. So.
Yeah. I think my first recommendation would actually be Food Trucks in Babylon by Dr. Todd Miles and Dr. Ryan Lister. My second on podcasts would be the Actual Bible Project podcast. That one is just so... They have podcasts for like almost every single topic you could think of that you're like kind of wanting to ask yourself. They also expand upon what they're doing with their videos already. So like what the kind of the work they put into research their amazing content, So that would be my two recommendations starting off.
The next podcast I would personally recommend, I've listened to a couple of them that actually really intrigued me, but I love the concept of the show. It's called The Unbelievable Podcast, and its host is Justin Briley. I believe he's British. You can tell by the accent, but he does a really good job at giving a platform for two sides of an argument. For example,
debate.
Debate. An atheist will come on and he'll have a Christian on, and they'll debate biblical concepts,
numerous topics and such.
One of the ones I recently listened to was about paranormal activity and or demons and exorcism, and that one was quite interesting. So I'd give Unbelievable a listen if I were you.
Yeah. My next recommendation would be so Dr. Tim Mackey from the Bible Project. He has his own podcast of all of his archives of his sermons and messages. Those sermons are phenomenal. They hold up. The quality of the audio is, what you'd expect, but oh my gosh, I have learned so much from those sermons. I would absolutely recommend at least taking a look at one of his.
The next podcast I would recommend is a podcast called Theology in the Raw by Preston Sprinkle. He does a good job at hosting different topics and or guests on, and he has a lot of awesome topics relating to the world now and things that we'll run into in the future.
I guess for some of you that would probably want to be able to just listen to something that's a little bit shorter, but also still kind of have that like ability to take in a lot of content, I would recommend I would recommend most the gospel, or pretty much all of the Gospel Coalition podcasts that they have, but the one I would recommend for those of you who want to listen to something a little bit, maybe on the go and you don't have as much time, I would recommend their question and answer series. They usually have two people that you definitely know. You will definitely know. They usually have them discussing a topic, and oh my gosh, their ability to answer some of the questions that we all ask it's just amazing seeing biblical men answer things that, I'm wondering and you're going to be wondering too. And so I would absolutely check that podcast out, because again, the content is so easily, I guess the word you could use is digestible. You can consume it and then move on to the next thing.
Thanks for bearing with us as we gave some suggestions of podcasts we like listening to personally. Again, maybe feel free to share some of the podcasts you listen to, or maybe even some of the episodes of the podcasts that you have listened to down in the comment section, and we'd love to hear that, and we'd love for you guys to engage on that too. Again, this was our kind of personal opinion on what podcasts we find to be cool and inspirational and or educational, but it's totally a personal preference. But again, we encourage you guys to go check out those things. Thanks for watching, and subscribe.